AITA for repeatedly calling someone stupid after they accused me of lying about my children's ethnicity? Am I the asshole? OK_garage 5055. This thread is now locked due to an excessive rule violations. NN. Subrules. https www.reddit.com/r/amethyshole/about/rules/ pipe FAQs. https www.reddit.com/r/amethyshole/wiki/fac Farvas Cola 1. NTA. Why would she be so pressed about someone else's culture? Our culture they claim to be. She was rude and basically harassing you on more occasions than one. She wasn't entitled to an explanation, let alone having to show her a picture of your family for her to be convinced. I think you were more than patient with her and definitely NTA. Hate to break it to her, but she isn't the only Dominican to walk this earth, and not all Dominicans are gonna look like what her mind accepts as one. Ela Diary. 1874. I mean, it sounds like she'd been harassing you for a while over this, and maybe more than a little. Prejudice. Gatekeeping an entire culture? What if your husband didn't look Dominican enough for her? There comes a point where you stop being nice. Maybe you did take it a bit far, but repeated snide remarks wear a person down until they snap. NTA because it feels justified. Genetics are super weird. Reminds me of a story I was listening to the other week about a family with only albino children. And the father blamed the mother for it. Called her all sorts of awful names. Had an affair. Ran off with the mistress he knocked up, who had an albino baby. Confusion possible. 590. 12,413. The NTA greater than. She said there was no need to be defensive. She just called you a fake Dominican appropriating another culture and suggested you were lying about your husband and kids' ethnicity. Yeah, there is a need to be defensive. Because she was attacking you. You'd probably get less stink eye if you said it politely without insults. But it's not like she didn't deserve it. Irish_whiskey. 4,840. NTA. There is a saying, insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. You've been polite to this woman, who has been exceptionally rude to you for a long time, and she has made it quite clear that she would not stop questioning your children's ethnicity. If you were going to get her to stop, you had to do something different. She brought this on herself by inserting herself into something that she had no reason to. BAMF 1701. 822. 2. Your NTA. She insisted upon publicly displaying her ignorance. Especially since you had already explained things to her that were none of her business in the first place. XA0 greater than. Almost every time we see each other, she brings it up somehow. Making comments about how pale the kids are. Finding it weird they don't know Spanish. That is one of the rudest, most judgmental and intrusive things I have read on here this month. She deserved everything you said and a lot more. Ditto head forever. 530. NTA. I've had people call me less of a Dominican because I'm lighter and also don't speak Spanish since childhood. Especially from cousins who speak Spanish and other Hispanics. So I feel this to my core. She was doing this at your child's school repeatedly and potentially within earshot of your children. It was tacky in the first place for her to be rolling her eyes at your kids' project. I'm glad you stuck up for them. Former Revolution 660. 713. Greater than. But almost every time we see each other, she brings it up somehow. Making comments about how pale the kids are. Finding it weird they don't know Spanish. I probably would have said that I find it weird she doesn't know how to mind her own damned business. You took the high road long enough. Op. She clearly needed it spelled out in a very short book with lots of colorful pictures to finally understand. NTA. CLH1NTON. 112. AITA for punishing my family by no longer doing birthdays, holidays, vacations because my dad screwed me and my wife over? Am I the asshole? Leading_rock_418. Info. Did he give you the amount he said he would? Because if he did, I fail to see how he screwed you over. Mercy_full fate. 9060. YTA for framing it as your dad screwing you over. He offered you a down payment for a home. You assumed it would be a certain amount. It wasn't, but he still gave you a generous gift. And now you describe that generous gift as screwing you over. Also, while you're under no obligation to go on family trips, to cut out any visits to them for a few years after your dad gave you this generous gift because it wasn't as much as you were expecting sends a message. Whether you mean it to or not. Bop 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 doo wop. 5538. Your dad screwed you and your wife by giving you money, but less than you had hoped for? If you can't afford to travel, that's one thing, but trying to portray this as your family screwing you over somehow. Yikes. That's a definite YTA from me. Millennium. 8707. NTA. I'm going to say this and get downvoted to oblivion. I think Reddit leans toward the lighter-pocketed young person. Anytime something involves a financial transaction, others can't dream of your drag to hell for your privilege. Anytime you post about something that even remotely smells like you come from, have money prepared for the outpour of hate. Let's cut to the chase. Your dad isn't poor if he gifted your sister a $300K plus house in cash. If comparatively you got a $20K down payment. Thanks, Pop. But that doesn't add up to the down payment of the average home where you live, which will probably be closer to 40 to 60 plus closing costs. In any event, he isn't an asshole for giving you less than you expected, but he is an off for setting false expectations to manipulate his desired outcome, and I 100% believe this was intentional. It is not outlandish to have anticipated he'd offer you 1/6 of what he gave your sister. You're not punishing him by not visiting. You're prioritizing saving for a house. If he wants you to visit, he can offer to pay. Or if he wants to see you, he'll come visit. But I suspect he won't. Because it's not about that. It's about control. Good luck. And happy house hunting. Edited a typo. Screened Squirrel Society. 13. NTA. He didn't pay for your college while paying for you siblings? And now he comes up with a small sum to go towards a down payment? This is dad attempting to control where you live. He's given you the smallest amount of money possible that will get you to move home. He's a cheapskate. Don't accept the money. It isn't a gift. It's a fee with obligations. MRBNLKLD. 11. NTA. Any dad who pays $317,000 to buy your sister a house and who can't even do a deposit for you is a liar who has a favorite offspring. Tough way for you to learn it. But saving takes priority over wasteful trips to your controlling dad. Don't blame me. 333. 11. So, did he give you a lower amount than promised? Or was there never a number? Because a down payment is a huge variable that it would be hard to plan around. Some people think 10 grand. Some people think 100 grand. I can't imagine there were no numbers involved if you were making plans. MKD Ultra. 139. AITA for refusing to babysit my niece? Am I the asshole? Tortured Lawyers Department. NTA. Honestly, ask to review the tape. Call them out. Make them accountable. JRM 1102, 6296. NTA. And if it were me, I would never watch Niece again. Not because I wouldn't want to spend time with Niece, but because you never know if they'll make bigger, more serious unfounded accusations that could have bigger consequences for you or your partner. NoCow 8064. 1938. 30. NTA. They sound super manipulative and controlling. Don't even bother with people who make shit up. Also, let anyone who repeats their accusations know that they want you to apologize for removing yourself from her school pickup and continue to watch niece. If you were so horrible, why are they still asking you to watch her? Also, I would communicate only via text with them from now on. XA0. Impossible Tutor 799. 892. E2. Your NTA. Hasn't anyone noticed that they are spreading a bunch of stories that make it sound as though you're a terrible and unreliable babysitter, yet the resolution they want is for you to babysit? One would think you are the last person they would want to have care for their child. Considering their allegations, XA0, the only solution for you is to tell them you're obviously unqualified to watch their child and they will need to make other arrangements. XA0. Ditto Head Forever. 427. NTA. They have made strong allegations against you and you have to protect yourself and your reputation. They made their bed. They get to lie in it. Wayward Marauder. 123. Greater than. They also caught me yelling at my niece on the nanny cam. Tell them to show the recording. NTA. When people talk to you about it, say if you really neglected your niece or yelled at her, then why would they want you to babysit? Don't engage with your brother or SIL. Let them keep telling their lies. People are picking up on it. Don't ask me chit. 87. Do not ever be alone with your niece. They are saying you are abusive to your niece as a tactic to get you to look after her? If I thought someone was abusive to my child like hell, I would want them to look after them again. Next time it's gonna be something far more serious they say you done. NTA. XA0. Happy Weekend 69. 41. AITA for leaving without explanation after Mill pretended not to hear me. Am I the asshole? Glittering_way 4037. 7. NTA. Your Mill should respect your boundaries, and especially when it's about your baby. And your husband should have your back on that. I do understand that it must be uncomfortable and hurt him seeing his mother cry and be upset, but then he should talk to her about it instead of making you the bad person. The only thing I think you did wrong was that you didn't pick your daughter up after the first time you said it and Mill didn't listen. Maybe that would have made things go more smooth, but then again, it shouldn't really be necessary. I do think that it is important that you stand up for your boundaries. And your husband should support you on that. Sorry if my English isn't perfect. It's not my first language, but I did my best. Anyo 93 grams. 4004. NTA. But you have a husband problem as much as a Mill problem. So Mill was ignoring your instructions about your child. So you went to your husband so he could deal with his mother. Except a lawnmower, which would still be there after the conversation with you finished, was more important than his agitated wife and child. And instead of checking if you were okay, he had a go at you for making his mother cry. You need to have a serious talk with your husband about how much he is actually supporting you with your child and with his mother. When you have that conversation, do not let him distract you with, but they were upset. Mill behaved inappropriately. He ignored you. So you left. Their behavior created the issue. You let him know where you were and when you'd be back. Do not let him turn any of this back onto you. He and his mother have a lot to apologize for. Pleasant Koala 147. 1576. NTA. Mill can't go 10 minutes without trying to pull something? That's not your fault or problem. Okay. Interview 7328. 256. NTA. What is it with older people and feeding cake to babies? My grandma tried to give cake to my daughter when she was 3 or 4 months old. Okay. Sentence 731. 653. Your mother blatantly ignored me while trying to force feed our baby something they could choke on. So I took our baby to safety when your conversation took precedence over making your mother stop endangering our child. What's rude is guests coming into my home and endangering my baby by ignoring me. If you agree that I shouldn't have a say in my own home, then why are you even my husband? NTA honestly he should be stepping up a lot more with the baby to ensure you get more sleep. But then can you really trust him if he's going to let his mother stick her germ-covered cake pile spoon in his baby's mouth because he can't say no to her? Defending his mother implies he agrees with her and is therefore complicit in MIL's transgressions. It's easier to rip into his wife than confront his parents over his mother's lack of respect. I_wanna_be_anemone. 617. NTA. Why does he care more about your Mill's feelings than yours? I'd show him this post so he can read the comments. The deal was that she's only around the baby when he's there. That's a useless deal if he's not physically there in the room. The fact that she started with her BS immediately after he left shows she can control herself and does it on purpose. Your husband is blind and spineless. Fantastic_cow_6819. 163. Less than he left me alone with Mill despite our agreement. Be it only 10 minutes. Greater than **** less than so I grab my daughter and go to my husband and Phil. Subtly gesturing him to come back inside. Greater than **** less than I gestured to my husband again and he made an annoyed face. Greater than NTABTW you have an awesome sister. Do I want to know 6417. 71.